zoomed in. You're beautiful.
That swell!
The swell! The Zimmer swell! Hey, 420 YOLO estimate. Dude,
all the way across the sky.
Oh, there's a double! There's a double!
It's starting to look like a triple rainbow.
Oh my, it's a double rainbow! All the way across the sky! Hey friends, it's me, Penny, and I am here with a Zeldathon recovery recap sort of vlog thing, I guess. So those of you guys might know, I'm not really one for filming and vlogging much when I'm out and about. I prefer to kind of enjoy things and take them as they come rather than actually filming them. I feel like it kind of ruins the moment a bit, at least for myself personally. I recorded a few snapshots here and there, which you guys would have seen at the beginning of this vlog. But I felt like I should do a little bit of a recap vlog, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of unpack a little bit. My suitcase is full with loads of junk. I've taken out all the dirty washing. I look like a mess, by the way. I'm very sorry. I just finished streaming like 10 minutes ago, something like that, and I'm looking like a mess. My hair is a mess. I look tired. I'm ready to go to bed, but I wanted to get this recorded while the feels are still fresh. So I'm gonna set the camera on somewhere and we're gonna unpack my bag and I'm just gonna tell you some stories about Zeldathon and we're gonna see how it goes. First off, apologies for the lighting in my room. I look very, very orange right now. I've done something to the settings on my camera. I can't get the menu up on my camera and I don't know how to get the menu up to make myself look less orange. So either I'll fix it in post or most likely I'll just upload it in my great old orangey self. Anyway, so I've got a suitcase full of stuff here, and I was gonna kind of unpack some things and tell you about a few of the things that went on, and talk about Zeldathon. So first of all, Zeldathon was like, it feels really dramatic to say it was life-changing, but it was a life-changing week. I want to try and keep this as concise as possible. You know me, I tend to go on for ages on vlogs talking about this kind of stuff. But Zeldathon was life-changing. Zeldathon was really, honestly, it was a week where I was taking part in something I'd never taken part in before. It was going to a country that I hadn't been in, you know, years, and it was meeting new people and being a part of a community which I'd never been a part of before. And it's crazy and new and scary for me, and I was so nervous going in, and I felt like I grew as a person. I got to know so many people, I got to take part in such a crazy event, and it was honestly, I'm sorry, I'm trying to arrange my things so the bed a bit better. It was honestly a life-changing opportunity and a life-changing week for me. A couple of weeks, I guess. I was in America for a couple of weeks. The first half of it was when I was in DC, which was about 3 days. And the second half was when I was at Zeldathon, and then kind of a bit after Zeldathon as well. I left on Monday. And I came back on Monday. So yeah, it was 2 weeks. I don't really know where to start. So I arrived on Monday in DC. I was staying with Great Scott LP, who's a longtime friend of mine. I've known him for a good few years now. I actually came to know him because I was talking in a Zeldathon chat, which is kind of funny. It's like it's come full circle now. But yeah, we're good friends, and I was staying at his, and we met up with our friend Tyler, aka You Is Dead, for those of you who don't know him. He's involved in like a bunch of different communities like B&B and things like that. So he came to DC and met up with us, and we had a great old time. Spent a few days in DC. First day we just had dinner together because I arrived in the afternoon. Second day I was in DC with Tyler and did a lot of monument sightseeing, and because I've never been to DC. I lived in America for 8 years, for those of you who don't know, who are new to my channel, but I've never been to DC before. And second day was I was all by myself. I did a lot of museum things. I'm very quick when it comes to museums, so I did a lot of museum hopping, and I went to a baseball game as well, which was really nice. That was on the first day, actually. We watched The Room on the second day, I believe, and then the next day was Thursday, and that was the day that we drove up to Zeldathon. So we missed most of setup day, which was kind of a shame because it felt like a lot of people were already there and meeting each other and doing things. So when I arrived, I felt really kind of like, oh my god, I'm all new and everybody's gonna dislike me, and I just want to go hide in the corner and die, and I'm really shy. This is something that you need to know about me, which a lot of people don't realize. I'm very shy. My hair is doing crazy things right now, I'm very sorry about that. I'm very shy with hellos, and then once you get me talking, I won't shut up, basically. So I was really nervous going in and saying hello to people, and you know, this feels like too premature. It feels like too premature to start it. Let's start off talking about DC. I've got a bunch of things in my bag. I've got souvenirs, things like that. So let's talk about some stuff. So I knew when I went to America, I wanted to get food and candy relating to American things. I'm going to do a vlog a little bit later on. I'm probably going to record it very soon. I'm probably going to record it the next day or two, but this will go up before that. I'm going to be taste testing a bunch of these foods that I got. Some of them I won't be taste testing. So like I got a bunch of Kraft macaroni and cheese. Now I love this stuff, and you can get it in the UK, but one box is probably worth like this price the same as like these 5 boxes. It's like a lot. Yeah, I got a bunch of that to try. I got a bunch of American candy. They had like a pick and mix thing. I've got all these to try. So we're gonna do a kind of thing, because I ate these as a kid, where I'm kind of gonna see if they kind of like measure up to what I originally remember them being like, and the answer's probably going to be no, but we'll see. I've got some junior mints as well, things like that. Delicious food. These feel very, very squashed, actually. Oh god, they're not rattling very much. I got some goldfish as well. I also got some astronaut food to try. I went to the Air and Space Museum while I was in DC, so I got an astronaut chocolate ice cream with chocolate chips, freeze-dried, ready-to-eat space food. Shout outs to you know, the astronaut space food company, I guess. Anyway, that's gonna be interesting to try. I got some other food as well. I got some Hershey's, which kind of melted and cracked in my bag, but Hershey's isn't that great anyway, it is a chocolate, but I got Hershey's. So I got a lot of stuff to try. I got some other like souvenirs, museums for friends and things like that, posters and postcards and the like. I got Jolly Ranchers. Jolly Ranchers are my favorite. I have had Jolly Ranchers before and I love them a lot. Like I've had them recently. So I got a lot of food, which will be exciting to try in a vlog. But yeah, DC was kind of the sightseeing, more relaxing part of the holiday. And then we drove out to Zeldathon, and I was so incredibly... There's a rock stuck in my suitcase wheel. Dude. Yo, this rock is not coming out of my suitcase. Rip. Okay, that'll just stay in there. That's fine. Ow, my hands. But yeah, this was my first Zeldathon, and I was really surprised to get an invite because I didn't feel like I was really a part of the community that much, in the sense that I've watched Zeldathons in the past, but I've missed watching the last two because I've been busy. Like, I've caught a few hours of each of them, but I've been very busy with, like, just life in general. So I kind of felt out of step with the community. There were a lot of new people added who I didn't know, and things like that. And so I kind of came into this being like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? There are way more people who probably deserve to be invited more than me. Why am I going? Nobody knows me. Oh my god. And I was so incredibly nervous. And just, yeah, it's difficult going into something where you feel like you're an outsider. And it was never ever a case of me thinking that people are going to be mean to me or that people are going to be not nice or anything like that. But it was a case of me just feeling like I didn't belong. I was really worried I wouldn't fit in. And, you know, I get reassurances from Scott and people like that, be like, no, you'll be fine, they'll love you, you'll fit in. And I was just freaking out, basically. And, like, when we arrived, I'd just woken up from a nap in the car, and so I was really groggy and really dazed. So I arrived and I was like, who is everybody? What's going on? So I feel like I made a really bad first impression with everyone that night, because I was just, like, really quiet and really out of it. But everyone was really nice, everyone was really lovely, and it was just... It went by really slowly at first, and then it was just a blur. Like, the first day or two was really distinct in my mind, and then the rest of the days just blurred together. And it was like the first 2 days lasted a week, and the other 4 or 5 days of the marathon lasted like a day. Like, it went by so quickly by the end, and it was really, really sad that it went by quickly, because I had such an incredible time. I met and hung out with so many people who I'd talked to before on Twitter and things like that. I'd met and talked to so many people who I didn't even know existed, or who I only knew by name but had never ever interacted with ever before. And it was a crazy time. It was like chopping and changing from person to person, and there are some people who I hung out with a lot, and there are some people who only had like a conversation or two with, which was sad because I didn't get to talk to everyone that I wanted to and hang out with everyone that I wanted to. And I definitely want to come back. I definitely want to come back. Making it to Winter Zeldathons is going to be tough because it's like around a time where I'm busy with family, and also the next Winter Zeldathon especially, I've just come to a Zeldathon, so getting the money to go twice a year is going to be really difficult. But I really want to try and make it at least once a year if I can. I really want to try and make it to every summer one. This vlog already feels like it's in shambles in terms of structure, and I'm sorry that it's not going to be structured. I don't feel like any of my vlogs are very structured, but this one feels particularly kind of in pieces, but that's kind of my emotional state right now a little bit. So I probably would have been better off vlogging this later in terms of quality wise for the vlog, but it wouldn't have felt nearly, like later on when I kind of process things, but it wouldn't have felt nearly as genuine, I don't think, because I feel a lot more genuine with my emotions like soon after it's happened. I've only been back home like a day, so you know, it just feels a bit better to do this now. So there was a lot of, I was on screen a lot. I was kind of in the mindset where like it was all new to me, and I was like, I really want to take part and help out as much as I can. I was really keen to be on screen and interact with chat and to see all the games that are going on. I'm quite a bit of a Zelda scrub. I've only ever played the CDI games and Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess is my favourite game. I've seen bits and pieces, sometimes a lot more than bits and pieces, of some of the other games, like Wind Waker I've seen a ton of, because I've seen people like Scott speedrun it. So I've seen quite a bit of other pieces of games, and I know enough about the lore to get on, but I really felt like a bit of a Zelda scrub compared to like everyone else there. And I was worried again that I wouldn't fit in because of that. But it all kind of just slotted into place, and I was so keen to be on stream so I could learn more about Zelda and watch as many of the Zelda games as I could to learn more about them, and also just to get to know the community better and feel like I was making my mark and making a presence, because that's like, I'm new here, so I've got to do my best to, you know, try really hard and be on stream and read donations and things like that and take part in challenges. And it was great because I didn't feel like I was forced to. I just really wanted to help out because it was always so much fun. Everyone was having a great time. And a lot of people were saying that like a lot of people were saying, wow, you're on camera a lot. And if you look back over a lot of the big major stream highlights, I'm there quite a lot of the time, so I'm really hoping I didn't hog the camera from anyone. And I'd like to think I'm approachable, because I'm like short and, you know, generally quite quiet maybe, so I'd like to think that if people wanted me to get off the sofa, they can tell me to get off the sofa. But I was on camera a lot, and when I wasn't on camera, I was normally lurking on the sidelines, like watching things that were going on. Towards the end, I did kind of chill out a bit, and we actually went out to eat in a lot of places behind the scenes, hung out with a lot of people, had my first experience of things like IHOP, things like Cracker Barrel, Sheetz, things like that. I had, you know, first experiences for a lot of American places, which was really cool. And really nice to try, because you see these names thrown about a lot, and you never really try them yourself, so it was good to try that, and some of them were really good. Cracker Barrel food was just delicious. And so there was a lot of hanging out behind the scenes as well. There was even just in chill room, we were doing puzzles and things like that, and that was always so much fun to do puzzles and just chat and hang out. There were some jamming sessions. My very first morning that I was there, before the stream even started, we were in the chill room having a big jamming sesh. Jackson Brody was on the piano and just jamming away, and it was just like, it was nice because I wasn't at that stage yet where I was like confident enough to really talk to people, but like everybody kind of bonding over music and chatting about music and songs and singing and stuff was just a nice way to kind of lighten the mood and make me feel like I was a part of it a bit more without actually going up to people, because I was too scared to at that point. And it was very surreal to see a lot of familiar faces from Zeldathons I'd watched in the past and people who I'd talked to on Twitter, but without actually, you know, but like just being there instead of actually just watching them on a screen. So it was all a very surreal experience. I was kind of, I'm sorry, I'm yawning a tiny bit, I'm very tired. Yeah, the first day or two I was very quiet, I think, around people, and by the last day I was running up to people and hugging them hello and things like that. We had a Zen room, which I actually hardly went into, and I kind of wish I did in hindsight, because there was a lot of like just cuddling and happy, like chatting away and just like snuggled in blankets and stuff happening in there, and that sounded like a lot of fun. So I do wish I went into Zen room a bit more, but at the same time, because it was my first Zeldathon, I just wanted to be like out and about and running around and doing all this stuff like all the time. So I'm glad I did what I did, basically, and I don't regret anything that I did at this Zeldathon. I feel like I didn't sleep through many things that I wanted to, you know, that I was disappointed that I missed. You know, you have to sleep at some point. I got an average of like 4 hours a day, so I was already lacking in sleep. So it's I can't really complain about the amount of sleep that I had, about it being too much, because I really did not have enough. But I wish I'd eaten a bit better. I wish there was a better kitchen, because then I could have cooked fresher food, but then would I have cooked fresher food, you know? But, you know, all those things aren't really regrets. So kind of in hindsight, I'll know this for next time, but this time I'm glad I did the things that I did. So the marathon itself was just so much fun. I had such a great time all the time. And it was incredible to see, it was really touching and incredible to see the community, like people in chat were so nice to me, I was getting really lovely tweets, and just generally seeing a community support a charity so passionately. So this time round, again, I haven't watched the last Starrlett or too much, so I wasn't very familiar with the stats, but we raised a little bit less money than last time. It was less than 20k for sure, I think, than last time, but only just a bit less than 20k. And we had about half the number of viewers. And that's mind-boggling to me, having about half the number of viewers, but still managing to raise only just shy of the same total as last time. And this was with like esports events and things going on as well. A moment that made me tear up a little bit during the stream was when there was the goal to get MC and Zach and Maria dunked in water, and they were kind of like, even half jokingly were like, if you raise this amount, which was about $5,000 away in, you know, by 7 o'clock, or if you keep the train going past 7 without it breaking and manage to hit it, then we'll dunk water. And you guys did it. You guys bloody did it. Like, you raised about $1,000 every 10 minutes, which is mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling how you managed to do it. Like, I can't believe that we hit it. It was crazy, and I teared up because just seeing all of that generosity and seeing people fight so hard to, you know, help a charity, but also to make this fun happen and to like keep the stream alive and to keep things going was just so nice to see. And it really was very, very overwhelming. when we hit 200k, I woke up to that. I actually was asleep. That was one thing I regret missing, was hitting 200k, but I woke up to see we'd hit it. I was just so happy to see that we'd hit our goal, and it's one thing to watch it and see it happening. It's another thing to actually be there and feel everybody around you simultaneously being excited about something, and to feel that energy in the room. It's just incredible. And like, I was dreading the end of the stream so much when it came around, because I knew I would cry, and I did cry a little bit. I did. When all the music was being played at the end and all the donors were scrolling up in the credits on the screen, I was hugging Bluey and Rosie, and we were all just tearing up, and like, we were all hugging everyone, and I just couldn't deal with it. Like, I definitely cried then. Shout outs to Trina for having all the tissues for everyone. She was just walking around with a box like, you're gonna need these, and she was right. The music was just so beautiful that everybody played. There's such a talented group of musicians at Zeldathon, and I don't think you really fully appreciate it until you hear it live and hear it there while you're in the room, because it was just, it was just incredible to hear, and it just sounded beautiful, and I'll never forget the sounds of those instruments, even if it was songs that made me laugh or songs that made me cry. The music was definitely the thing that set me off. But saying goodbye was a different thing. It felt very frantic and confusing, because there were so many people leaving, and I didn't want to miss saying goodbye to anyone. I didn't know when everyone was leaving, and I was all kind of about it. But I wasn't emotional in the same way that I normally am. I'm normally so bad with goodbyes, and I normally weep buckets at goodbyes. I'm just so tearful. And I think it was due to probably lack of sleep, and also because everyone was leaving in a kind of staggered fashion, that it kind of staggered the sort of thoughts I was feeling, and I knew I still had some time left with some people. I didn't really cry at goodbyes. I was very emotional inside, but outside I was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna miss you, but I'll see you again soon, kind of thing. And I feel like I didn't necessarily get across how upset I was at saying goodbye to all of these wonderful, at saying goodbye to all of these wonderful people who I'm not going to see for at least another year, because I'm not going to be able to make it to the next Zeldathon. And like, it's so difficult to describe. I just felt very devoid of emotion externally. And when it came to, so like, we had the marathon, then we had a day afterwards where we just relaxed and had a good day with everyone together. And I'm really sorry about this hair, by the way, guys. My fringe is really bugging me at the moment. But we had a day where we just did like amusement park stuff. We went to a water park. It was a lot of fun. And then we spent a night at the Hat House afterwards. Scott and I drove there and helped to bring stuff in, and we stayed there for a night along with a bunch of other people. And that was really nice, because it was a day where we basically just went through Jackson's liked YouTube list, which went back like years, and he was just going through all his videos. We were just sitting there watching all these old videos. Some of them we knew, so it's kind of nostalgic for some of us as well. And that was literally what we did like all day. It was kind of weird, but it was really, really nice, because we just kind of chatted and had a good time. And we played some board games in the evening, and it was a bit of a stressful night, but it was, you know, it was nice, because I got to spend time with a smaller group of people, which is more manageable, really, than having to, like, you know, have 60, 70 odd attendees running around a hotel room, and you're trying to keep track of them all and say hello to them all. So it was really nice. There were people who I didn't get to talk to much in the marathon, who I got to hang out with a lot more after the marathon. So that was great. I say that was great as though, like, yeah, that was great, it was okay. It was honestly one of my favourite points of the whole week, because I got to actually hang out with people on a more one-on-one basis. But I was mostly not great that evening. A lot of things kind of like collided in my mind all at once, to do with the fact that it was over and I was going home tomorrow, and a lot of other things going on, and I was not doing great, and I knew it was going to be a really difficult goodbye, but my emotions were still kind of numb still. And there were a couple of people there who I really, really loved meeting, and who I really want to stay in touch with, especially at MC's at the end there. So it was really difficult to get to sleep that night. I was kind of lying in bed awake for a long time, and then I was messaging my mum at one point, and you know, it was difficult to fall asleep that night. I just kind of lay there, and my mind was kind of flicking back and forth through everything that had happened that week and all the things that, you know, I wish I had more time for, and how I'm not going to see a lot of people for another year. And that was really tough because I knew, because it was going to be a year, I was kind of worried that I was going to feel like an outsider by the time I came back to Zeldathon, because it would have been a whole year and people would have made, you know, stronger connections with other people, and I would have missed out on that because I won't be there for the next Zeldathon. But I tried to just push those thoughts away and just go to sleep, because I knew I needed the sleep for the next day, because it was a long car ride back to DC. But it was tough. It was really tough to sleep, and I woke up like a dozen times that night, and I really didn't get a good night's rest, and I was just really, really mellow, and saying goodbye was difficult because I wasn't really feeling much at that point. Like, my goodbye was kind of like a hug and, oh, I'm sad, I'll see you soon, and like walking out the door, and I was telling myself, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, even though I know it's perfectly okay to cry, but I just felt like once I started crying, I wouldn't be able to stop, and so I didn't cry. Held a brave head, didn't cry walking out the house, didn't cry on the way to Scott's car, didn't cry getting into Scott's car, didn't cry, you know, journeying to the airport, didn't cry saying goodbye to Scott, didn't cry going into the airport, didn't cry going through security, didn't cry sitting at my gate waiting for the plane, didn't cry walking to the plane, sat down on the plane, and it took every ounce of my energy to not have a massive crying, messy breakdown there and then, because I didn't want to, because it was in public and I didn't want to cry in public. And it was extremely tough because I knew that was it once I was on the plane. I knew that was the end of it all. I knew that I was, you know, going home and that would be it. And, you know, I really wasn't seeing anyone now, and I was on my own. I think that's what got me the most, the fact that I was sitting there on my own. Like, all week I hadn't really been on my own, and like, you know, if I was in the stream room, there were always people about. Even though I was sitting in the corner of the stream room editing, there'd always be people kind of around. When I was in the hotel room sleeping, there'd normally be at least someone else sleeping in there. I'd never been on my own, like, for pretty much 2 weeks. And sitting on that plane by myself made me really realize that I was on my own again, and I was coming back to, you know, England, where, like, yeah, I'm with family, but I'm also going to be a lot more on my own and doing things by myself again. And it was really difficult to not have a breakdown there and then, because it was really scary to think about being back and on my own and being alone with my own thoughts. And like, I knew it wasn't going to be awful and I was going to get through it, but goodbyes are always so tough. And we got on the plane, and the plane was delayed because there was something with an alarm in one of the cases going off, and it wasn't anything serious, like any kind of, no one thought it was really a bomb scare. The pilot was kind of laughing as he was saying it. He was kind of like, if anybody has an alarmed thing in their case and they're not, you know, like, and they might have turned it on by accident or might have turned on their suitcase, can you come find a crew member or whatever? And they had to take out all the cases and rescan them all before putting them back in, and they had to unload some cargo as well, and there's some kerfuffle with the food. So it was about a 4-hour delay in the end. I watched 2 films in that time. I watched Brooklyn and I watched Room in that time. I'm really glad the TV's working, so I would have been sitting, like, if the TVs weren't working, I would have been sitting there just like with my own thoughts, like, what do I do? And there was no hot food because it would have taken like another hour for them to get hot food sorted for the plane. So in the end, they just didn't do hot food, and we just had like everything. Like, you know, the food tray comes with like the hot food, and then it comes with all the other things like the salad and the bread roll and things like that. So we just had all of that side stuff instead of the actual hot food. So we had food. It wasn't too bad, but it was like everything was just going wrong, and I felt wrong inside and out being on that plane. And it was such a weird mixture of wanting to go home and, you know, be in my own bed and be with my family, and wanting to stay with all these new friends that I'd made, because it felt like I just made all these new friends and I just made a connection with all of these amazing people, and I just started to get to know people, and it was that kind of time where all you want to do is hang out with these people and talk and get to know them, and then it was all snatched away from me, and I was going home, and it just didn't really feel like long enough. And, you know, I wish it was longer. I wish it was a longer time, and I wish I got to hang out with people more, and I wish I could have stayed longer. I wish everyone else could have stayed longer as well. So it was really difficult to sort of sit there and feel really in between, and at the same time not be moving anywhere because the plane was delayed, and those 4 hours were just, I'm so glad I had those films because they would have been horrible otherwise. They were still pretty bad, but you know, I didn't have a massive crying messy breakdown, so that was something, but it was so difficult saying goodbye because it was such a magical, indescribable experience. Like, I know this vlog isn't really described much, I've just sort of talked about this happened and that happened, I felt like this, but it's because it is such an indescribable experience what happens, and you really can't compare it to anything, you know. I've heard people go to Zeldathon talk about how it's like family, and it's only going there myself that I can see how much it is like family for so many people, and how everybody looks out for each other, and sometimes people don't get along, but that's what families are, you know. You get along with some people, you don't with others, but you make it work, and you work together, and no matter what, every single person at that marathon was working together to make this happen, and make all of these donations happen, and to make all these challenges happen. And you know, the charity people who came were so proud and so happy to see all the work that we were doing, and my family were really proud and happy too, and so were my friends, and it was just such an incredible experience, and one that I cannot truly describe how it was. There were so many funny like challenges to happen. I'm gonna put a link in the description to, I think it's a fan made, a viewer made spreadsheet which accounts for a lot of the things that happened. I did things like blindfold face painting with Rosie, I did some sword fights and leg wrestling and things like that. There's one moment of like Jackson jokingly being like, do they have corn dogs in your country, and things like that, and there's like jokes around that. Like, there were a lot of good moments, and it's definitely worth checking them out. The musical moments are always worth checking out, they're always amazing. And if you guys have any questions at all, because I feel like I'm not really answering many questions, I might even do a kind of Zeldathon Q&A sort of follow-up vlog if you guys want me to. If you guys have any particular questions, if I can answer them, I'll be happy to. Obviously something's has to be kept under wraps, like where is it located, I can't say, but I'm more than happy to answer questions that you guys have in the chat, and I'll either do a separate vlog for that or I'll just answer them in comments. But yeah, this is just kind of a thing to say, like, I'm back and it was incredible and I'm very happy, and I'm probably missing out loads of things that I wish I'd said. I've got a bunch of things in my suitcase. I got water bottle, Zeldathon recovery water bottle, which I love a lot. The amount of times that I've pushed the splash guard at the top here, I've just accidentally pushed it down into the bottle, is insane. Probably need the wash as well. I got my award for the best use of hat, because I wore my Zelda hat almost non-stop. I had my Mojo hat I wore sometimes as well, but I wore the Zelda cap almost non-stop. You guys probably recognize it from streams and stuff if you're long-time viewers. I love that Zelda cap. It was mainly to hide the fact that I wasn't a massive Zelda know-it-all, so I didn't have any Zelda clothes except for like one shirt, so I just wore that hat all the time to cover up that fact, so I looked like I was a cool hip Zelda person who knew all the Zelda things. What else have I got in this bag? I've got some food from Mojo. Mojo, literally, she got the award, I think, for like Zeldathon aunt. She deserves that. She was absolutely incredible. She was always checking to make sure people were okay. She was so kind to me. She gave me just the biggest, warmest hug ever, and she was great. She got me some delicious freeze-dried food to go along with my astronaut food. So that's really cool. What else did I get? I got my hat that my friend Quentin donated for me. My hat that says I'm Ozba. Which I got on stream, so I got that hat. I've got a bunch of just little things. I got this cute little, I think it's a frog from an anime. I'm calling it bagpipes. Bagpipes the frog, because exclamation mark bagpipes in the chat. And Bluey won that for me at the arcade that we went to one night, which is very sweet of him. He won a lot actually. He's really good at those crane games. But yeah, so I've got this cute little. It'll be my Zeldathon mascot. Maybe I'll bring it to future Zeldathons. What else have I got? I got a bunch of junk in here. I've got loads of random garbage. Like, my suitcase is just a mess, man. It's just an utter mess. I've got random things that I just saved from like America in general. So like I've got a Dr. Pepper bottle top, which is from like a real sugar Dr. Pepper, because I love Dr. Pepper, and Scott got that for me. So that was really sweet of him. One of my favorite moments, we all watched The Princess Bride in the Zen room together. That was just so nice, because it was really relaxing, and it was just a nice way to kind of wrap up the marathon. Yeah, I've got Oh yeah, I've got this, my fave. This is my drawing from Rosie's art class of Shadow painted like a French grill, and I got him to sign it because I like jokingly ran up to him like, please can you sign my picture? So that was really cute. So I got a lot of memories from Zeldathon. I'm gonna have a lot more. I didn't actually bring anything for people to sign this time, and I'm definitely gonna do it next time. I don't know what I want for people to sign. I wasn't really prepared for that this time, but I definitely want something for people to sign next time. But yeah, that's all I really have to say on the matter. I'm sorry I don't really have more to say right now, even though I feel like I rambled forever. But I'm just kind of still sad about it right now. So again, if you guys have any questions, then feel free to throw them at me. But I just want to say a huge thank you, like, to first of all to Salsa Doom, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be going to Zeldathon, because he basically funded my whole trip, which blew my mind, like, absolutely. I remember being on the bus with Ed, and I just looked down, I was like, I've just got this huge donation, I don't know if it's real. So thank you so much for funding my trip, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have got this experience, and it was a great experience, and, you know, I will never be able to thank you enough for the money that you've given towards me in order for me to be able to go on this experience, and I can't wait to go again. I can't wait to save up and be able to go again, because, you know, I say it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and in a way it is, but I really hope it's not a once-in-a-lifetime experience, because I want to be able to experience it again and again and again. I want to be able to see all my friends again. So yeah, thank you for all of you guys who've been here supporting me. If you didn't, you know, watch my content, and if you weren't here to chat to in the community and support me and, you know, help me grow as a person, as a content creator, then I wouldn't be going to Zeldathon. I wouldn't be anyone. And if it wasn't for you guys, you know, donating and supporting me like that, then I wouldn't have the funds to go to Zeldathon. So this would not have happened because of you. And if it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't have been there to experience and help to raise, you know, almost $250,000 for charity. And I will never forget this, and I will never be thankful enough. I will never be thankful enough. I will never be able to show my thanks enough for how grateful I am to you guys. So, I love your faces a lot. I'm gonna go unpack all of this garbage, and yeah, much love to you all. Thank you for watching. Any questions, again, just put them downstairs. Goodbye.